Hey folks, we're here again at F64 Live. You can find out more about F64 Live at the website, f64live.com. We're interrupting Carla's class. Carla's teaching some stuff. What are you teaching today?
Well, we're teaching how to work with available light and make it look like it was done in a studio. We're not using tripods because we're being very mobile. And we're looking for corners and angles and using the light that bounces off the wall, off the floor. Yeah.
So you're using what's here. You're MacGyvering the light.
Yes, definitely. I am a MacGyver all the way.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
So when you build a shot, is it more of like is it like jazz where you're improvising throughout the whole thing, or is it more like classical music where you know exactly where each note should be and where the model should be in the light and all that?
It's more like jazz, more like improvising. We start with the light because as photographers, that's our medium, is light. And then we're working with the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes we want a complicated background because we're trying to tell a story. Other times we want it nice and simple. We're looking at how the light plays off the model's face. We're rotating around the models. We're looking for composition, of course. Yeah.
What about storytelling? I mean, because you got some fantastic models here, and they almost tell a story just standing there, right? Like, does that factor into your composition at all? Like when you have these kind of models to work with?
It does. We are working with how they're dressed, which also gives you an opportunity to do these fabulous details. I mean, we've got these great keys. We've got some fabulous belt buckles. So yeah, we're telling the story. We're actually talking to them and having them work together. And instead of saying, tilt your head, do this, do that, we give them ideas and say, okay, you're feeling threatened right now. Okay, so what do you need to do?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Or we'll say, okay, you guys are having an argument and you're not very happy with one another. And so they've been interacting like that.
So it's a little bit of theater you introduce.
A lot of theater, yeah. It's better. It gives them the right expressions, and it puts them physically, body language, in the mood to tell a story, as opposed to when you start going, tilt your head, lean forward,
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean that's been the sort of thread that's being woven through all these interviews that we're doing, and that's the idea of story and telling a story. And you're taking it one step further and actually saying this is theatrical, right? So if it's theatrical, it's theatrical jazz. How does that work?
Wow. That's putting a lot of stuff on there. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you're working with them and it's like, okay, this isn't working. You don't say that, of course. You say, well, let's try something else. And then it's the building. And sometimes they'll strike a pose just naturally, which that's the best. And these guys are fabulous to work with. They're
I'm afraid for my life right now.
You should be.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, we've been talking a lot about light. We've been talking about composition and theatrics and jazz and all that stuff. What we haven't talked about at all is gear. How important does gear factor in, or does it factor in at all?
Well, you have a camera. Doesn't matter what camera you have. Obviously, full frame is going to give you more information and better quality. I generally work with a wide angle and maybe a 70 to 200. Anything longer than that, and you're too far away from your models or your clients, and you can't interact with them. And a wide angle makes you up close and personal, feel like you're right there in the action. A longer lens compresses the space, and so they give very different feels. Yeah,
that's interesting because a lot of portrait photographers will say, no, it's got to be a long lens because you want bokeh, you want to throw the background out of focus, yada, yada, yada. And you flip the script and say, yeah, you can use a wide angle if you want. What do you say to those people that say, no, you can only shoot with long focal lengths to blur the background?
We're artists. There's no rules. We're artists. It's the story you want to tell. So that long lens is going to tell a very different story from the wide angle lens. And ask these guys, they've had cameras like right up in their face, and they've been, angry and pointing weapons at one another, and then they've been all sweet and.
I love it. And you're probably the nicest people in the world. He's got a blade over there.
To work with, yeah.
Okay, so second to last question. If someone's watching this and they're inspired by all the stuff that they're seeing, how do they get started? Like if they're a photographer and they want to do this kind of, commercial portraiture, theatrical type work, what's the first thing to do?
They need to learn how to control their camera.
Read your manual.
Read your manual. Take classes. You know, there's a lot of wonderful programs around. There's the F64LIVE. There's IEPPV. There's RCC, Riverside City College. Learn how to use your camera. Be comfortable with it. It doesn't matter which camera it is. If you have the brand new state-of-the-art camera and you don't know how to use it, you can't get the pictures. Pay attention to light, even if you're not taking pictures. And we've had these fires here recently. The light, I hate to say it, but the light has been fabulous. When that smoke comes over the sun, it just creates a really nice golden light.
Instant Instagram filter.
Oh, kind of, yeah. Learn post-processing. Digital cameras are so prevalent now, and even phones. The cameras are so good on phones. Learn how to post-process, because that's what's going to set you apart. People hire a photographer for their style, and a style can't be taught, or a style can be taught, but a vision can't be taught. So figure out what it is.
All right, I got one more question for you. This is a hot seat question. You ready?
I don't know.
You got a lot of students over here.
I do.
They look like competent photographers. Everybody's smart and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Who's the best one?
Oh my heavens. That's a terrible question.
You switching into politician mode?
No, I'm not a politician. We've got some professionals and we've got some beginners that are just learning their cameras. They all have their strengths. I've been seeing how they've been interacting. Some are more comfortable interacting with their models, which is key. Other ones are more low-key and stand in the background, and that has its place too. So that's as far as I'm going with answering that question.
And you said it before, this is art and there are no rules, right? So if you want to be back farther and use a longer lens and do your thing, then you can do that, right?
Yes.
All right, if people want to connect with you online, where should they go?
Well, I have a website. Want me to say it? Okay. ccbender.com. Instagram is Carla Bender _photo. I don't even know. I have to look at my cards.
We'll find it. Don't worry about it.
And I also teach at RCC, Riverside City College. I teach beginning digital. Is that okay to go through this? All right. So I teach beginning digital, intermediate, and photojournalism, because that's my background as a photojournalist.
Me too.
Oh, very good. And I have a studio downtown Riverside.
So you're the real deal.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
I've had a camera in my hand since I was 6 years old. So
really?
Yeah.
Is in 6?
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been shooting for 20 years. That's amazing.
Now, who's the politician now?
All right, Carla, thank you so much for letting us interrupt.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it. F64live.com. We'll see you in the next one.